All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the VAR Weekend Review, the show that reviews controversial VAR and referee decisions from the previous week. Before we get into the video, though, guys, we're going to give a quick shout out to Inside the 9090 apparel store here local to Houston. They got football, memorabilia, and fun merchandise around the sport. They got their card collector shirt right here. Tag somebody who collects cards for an habit on the field, and the referee just has them in the book. Big shout out to Inside the 90 guys. But without wasting any more time, let's just get quickly into the videos because we got some decisions from Premier League match week 7 that we should look at. Starting out with Manchester United versus Sunderland. Benjamin Sesko trying to make a name as a striker, but right now he made a name by giving away a penalty for a high boot, and the VAR sort of overturned that decision and let Manchester United off. Just to sort of review it, Sesko, air ball comes in. Sesko, obviously a tall figure, raises his legs trying to win the ball. The opposition defender obviously tries to get his head in, and it looked like a dangerous play there, high boot, and the referee calls for a foul, points towards a free kick. And actually, it was the assistant referee, I think, that recommended that the referee should point it towards the spot. Now, VAR takes a look at it and sees that there's no contact between Sesko and the player and overturning the decision. What's the verdict over here, guys? I think that's the correct decision because, yes, that outside the box, and I know this is always a conversation, if it was a foul outside the box, would it be inside the box? But outside the box, yes, to manage and maintain player safety and all, you would not want to let those fouls go. So outside the box, that Benjamin Sesko foul stays as a foul, should be called a foul, and probably would be. Now, in the box, if there's the threshold for the foul has to be a little bit more higher, because if he does not make contact there, and yes, it was not intentionally endangering the player. He was definitely trying to play the ball. So, and he makes connection with the ball. So, and the player doesn't connect with Sesko's foot at all. So I think inside the box, there should be a little higher threshold for a foul. And I think VAR rightly so overturned that decision and took away the penalty from Sunderland and let Sesko off the hook. That was the right decision, guys. Let's move on to what we have is the Arsenal versus West Ham game. Now, VAR Weekend Review and Arsenal is not there is not really possible because of PGMOL's agenda. But let's start with, first of all, the penalty that Arsenal got. And then we'll touch the two incidents in which they maybe should have gotten a penalty and didn't. Starting off with the Jurgen Timber penalty call. Now, the rule is very clear, guys. If there is a holding foul, if the defender maintains a hold on the attacker and the foul is initiated outside the box, but then is continued into the box, that would be given as a penalty. Now, obviously, if there's a tackle outside the box and the player goes down and, sort of rolls into the box or whatever, that wouldn't be the same case. But if the player has hold of the attacking player, if he's in contact with him one way or the other, and that continues into the box, then that would be a penalty. And I also want you guys to sort of look at this. I don't know if the referee sort of saw that or not, and if he did, then wow, that's freaking amazing. But when Jurgen Timber is going down, obviously the West Ham defender is in contact with him. But when he is going down and it seems like he's outside the box, his foot is on the line for the penalty box. So that means that continuation of the foul has begun into the box because the foot of Jurgen Timber is on the line, and that means that now he is basically in the vicinity of the penalty box, and if a foul is made, it will be given as a penalty. So despite the controversy, this was the correct decision. I don't know how the referees got to it, if that was their sort of point of view, but nonetheless, it was a correct decision. So PGMOL, I'm sorry if we got a penalty from you guys. I know you guys are fuming, but I think they were fuming because there were a couple of incidents that we should look at in that game as well. 2 shouts for handball, and let's look at the first one, in which the ball sort of bounces in the air, bounces off the ground. I think there's a small touch from the West Ham defender, and then it very clearly strikes the hand of another defender. We've seen a lot of clips and pictures of that one as well. This particular foul, or this particular handball, was not a foul. It was not a penalty. Why? Because multiple reasons. First of all, the ball is sort of bouncing off the ground. Then I believe there's another touch from the defender's teammate that sort of gives an extra deflection. And then, yes, it very clearly strikes him on the arm. The proximity is less. The intention is not there. There's definitely a deflection leading up to that handball. And I think it's fair to say that that was correctly not given. However, in the same game, PGMOL already had given a penalty, so they were like, there's no way we're going to give another one. But there was an incident with former Arsenal player Mavropanos. Bukayo Saka plays a ball in, attacking sequence, plays a ball in, sort of lobs it in, and Mavropanos' left hand, unnatural position, away from the body, stops the ball with his hand, killing the attacking sequence, and the ball goes into control of West Ham. I think not even looked at by Michael Oliver in the VAR room that day. Of course, it was Michael Oliver, of all people, but this foul right here, this shout for a handball, was 100% valid. It should have resulted into a penalty for Arsenal, but again, PGMOL giving 2 penalties to Arsenal in one game. Don't even think about it. And yeah, I think that was Arsenal was hard done over there, but that's the standard of VAR in England. So let's move on to another game which has, I think, around 3 incidents as well. Definitely electric game. Definitely the result that I wanted to see. But Chelsea versus Liverpool. Obviously, Arne Slot's luck has run out, and we could see that because 3 straight defeats. But there were 3 incidents in there that should be looked at, starting with the one between Garnacho and Dominic Szoboszlai. Now, Szoboszlai and Garnacho, both players go after a ball. They're running sort of full speed, and as soon as Garnacho sort of enters the box, and Szoboszlai as well, pretty lazy and I would say irresponsible of him as a defending player there, but that he first puts a hand in the back of Garnacho, and then he also touches him sort of with his second hand as well, really looking like he's about to push him in the back. And where Garnacho goes wrong is that he goes flying in the air and he's rolling, and he just basically got thrown off by, the rock or something. But like, Szoboszlai definitely puts his hands in the back, and yes, outside the box, it would be very easy to give a foul on that one if there's like a push or whatever. But the intensity of that push, or how much power was in that little contact, I think if you look at real time, was not that much. If you slow down, if you put it as a still picture, or if you slow it down, yes, it would look like you will see all that would suggest otherwise. But in real time, and if I could play real time videos, PGMOL would report this video. They're doing that as well. But yeah, I think Szoboszlai's contact with Garnacho was not that much, and then Garnacho's sort of act or dive, whatever you want to say after that, was just too much exaggerated. And I think in those cases, you would never sort of get the penalty. And VAR also would look at Garnacho's sort of antics of how he tries to really, really sell that one. And that's what sort of goes also against him in this decision. And I would say at the end of the day, I think giving a penalty on that one with that amount of contact, I think would be unfair. And I think maybe the right decision from the referee to keep that as no foul. Then there was another incident between Reece James and Alexander Isak. Now, Isak, on the other hand, goes and completely falls on the floor and he's throwing his hands around and really convinced that Reece James handled him in the box, which led to him falling and losing the ball out. And I think Liverpool fans were thinking the same. You would see the toxic sort of Twitter comments of, PGM. Liverpool fans on Twitter are going to be like, oh, the agenda against Liverpool is crazy. What? I mean, what are you talking about? But the Isak, when you look at the other side of the image, Isak is the first one actually who completely takes Reece James' shirt home. Like, he's trying to take that shirt home with him, and he pulls on it from the back, which leads to Reece James reacting and also pulling on Isak's shirt, which leads to him falling down and really making it look like it should be a penalty. I think smart play from Isak, I would say. He definitely tried to create something out of nothing there, but again, thankfully, the referee, obviously, it would have been at Anfield. Maybe he would have even given it, but since it was in Stamford Bridge, less pressure, I think he was able to make the right decision there and not give a penalty to Liverpool because the first foul was initiated by Alexander Isak. And I think in the same game, we don't have too much good imagery of this one, but there was another incident, I think, where Cody Gakpo sort of stomped on, I think it was Reece James again. I think Reece James sort of was losing the ball, or tried to get the ball away. But I think Cody Gakpo was very late in the challenge, and he comes in studs first, stomps on the leg of Reece James, and I think Anthony Taylor was the referee there. He doesn't even look at it. VAR doesn't come back to it for dangerous foul play, and the play just sort of continues, and the story is just sort of lost. But there's some footage and some imagery of it showing that maybe that should have been looked at twice. But we know that Liverpool and their little elbows and their little pushes and their little, fists to the face or studs to the shins are usually not looked at. We've been seeing that trend for a few years now. But I think overall, it was a better performance, I would say, from VAR this last week, or the referees in general. But obviously, with the high intensity game, high complexity of the games, there's always going to be incidents here and there. But let me know what you guys think of these decisions. Let me know in the comments. Definitely don't forget to subscribe, follow my channels on Instagram, TikTok, htown.ref. This is MA10 Talk Show here on YouTube. So guys, don't forget to support us. Check out Inside the 90 apparel store as well. And I will see you guys in our next video. You guys have a good one.